Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, it is January 7th, and I might kind of, I'm just going to talk today because I've had something on my mind, and that is the idea of ego and where its place is. Because everyone's going to have an ego. I personally don't believe in the idea of ego death. I think that's a bit ridiculous. Like, you have to have some level of confidence in yourself and your ability to get anywhere, to do anything, to make any decision on anything, anytime. You have to have some level of, yeah, I can do that. Like, and that's ego, right? At the most basic level. That's your ego saying, yeah, I can do that. So to be like, I can understand the idea that they're trying to present, especially in like uh, Asian philosophy, where they believe that ego really has no place. Um, I can understand the concept that they're trying to present, but realistically, to do anything in life ever, we have to have some ego. We have to have some level of confidence in our ability to do anything. Like me, right? Talking into this camera. Like, I have to have some kind of idea that I know what the fuck I'm talking about. Whether I do or not, which I would believe I do. I'm not totally full of shit. Um, yeah. So I think the thing is finding the line of where it goes from confidence to cockiness. No, where you're just full of yourself for no reason. Having a realistic idea of what you are actually capable of and being humble enough to understand, okay, well, I am not capable of this. So I'm not going to try and present myself as being capable of it or try to convince myself of something or whatever the case may be. But it's finding that line. And for context, I used to be an asshole. Um, I would say I'm a pretty mellow guy now. I used to be a dick when I was in my teens. Uh, I was really full of myself. Like, oh yeah, man, I got this whole life thing figured out. I've got the world figured out. I know how everything works, and I was always right. And I was just angry at everything. Just, oh man, watch me play video games. Holy cow, it was bad. I'm still not great when I play video games, but that's more because I have a bit of a complex with like inferiority. But like, I don't like the idea of losing things because I feel like I, it makes me feel like I'm not actually capable of doing a thing. But it's like, you you play video games once a month. Like, you're gonna be terrible at it. What kind of world do you live in where you think, oh yeah, I got this game handled. I never play it, but I could do this. That's the thing that happens in your head. I mean, you know that it's bullshit. You know that. But it's just an instinctual thing. And honestly, I think it's mostly habitual for me at this point too. Because it's really just when I'm playing video games. Um, I don't really have that problem with anything else for the most part. Like if I'm playing sports or something or anything along those lines, I don't. Or if I'm like out shooting, if I'm out taking photos with my camera or something, if I take a photo and it doesn't come out nice or the way that I expected or liked or etc., I'm not very hard on myself for it. I just try to like, okay, so this is what I could have done. I approach it in just a very practical way. But yeah, I don't know, video games specifically, they just really tilt me. So I would say it's probably mostly habitual. It's just a bad habit from when I used to play video games all the time. But anyway, ego. Because I was thinking about how I kind of made a half joke. I wasn't really joking. On my first video, where I was joking about how, like, if you subscribe to the Anthony Tate? No, that's not right. What the hell's his name? Is that his name? No, Tate. Andrew Tate. Anthony. Andrew Tate. If you subscribe to a general ideology that like would be along the lines of what Andrew Tate presents as the way to live life, like you should feel bad, because no one deserves that. You or the people around you or your family or your community, etc. The world deserves better from you, and you should not stoop that low to be that selfish and greedy and so egomaniacal. It's ridiculous. That guy's so full of himself. It's so pathetic to watch. So full of himself. For no reason. Dude, we are insignificant. We got to remember that. Like, we are here, as far as we are aware, we are here. So, yeah, let's make the most of it, right? Because obviously, we are complex creatures. Obviously, we've got a lot of things going on in our life. We've got complex relationships. We've got complex, we got work, we got school, we got money, we got all these things going on that like, and we can look around and see like, oh man, humans are capable of crazy things. Like, I mean, the fact that I can just sit in front of this stupid box and record myself in such clear definition that you go, am I sure that he's not actually sitting in front of me right now? And just upload it to this ethereal concept of the internet where anybody in the entire world can see me just talk into a mic and just blab crap. It's mind-blowing. It's an absolutely mind-blowing thing. And we take it for granted so much. It's disgusting. Dude, it's a miracle. And was it Bill Burr or Louis C.K.? One of those comedians has a bit about dude, you could literally just Google anything. You have a phone. Look at your phone. Look at your phone. It's magic. You can just pull out your phone and talk to anybody. Talk to anybody immediately. Immediately. You can just look up things like magic. You could look up anything you could possibly conceive of, and there'll be some guy who's been doing it for his entire life who just writes a paper on it or makes a video about it or whatever. Tips and tricks. It's insane, and we take it so for granted. But take a step back, admire that, but beyond that, understand that you're capable of the same things too. Anybody. I really mean that. I really believe that within some margin of error, right? Because, like, obviously some people are better at math than other people, right? So if you want to be an engineer and you suck at math, like your brain just doesn't get it, then yeah, I mean, you're going to have a harder time. You could probably do it. It's just going to suck a lot more. But you could do it. I'm sure you could. Humans are insane. Humans are crazy creatures. Know that. Know that. Really accept that. That you are something pretty amazing. But understand that so is everybody else. If everybody's amazing, is anyone amazing? And that's kind of my point. It's like, it's insane that you exist in the world that you exist in and everything. But so does everybody else. So get a grip, all right? It's not just about you. And coexist. I guess this video is more for like the angry kids on the internet. Because there seem to be a lot of them nowadays. Unfortunately. uh, People are just angry at the world. And no part of them is going like, well, maybe I'm lashing out. Like, take a step back and pay attention to what you're doing. Like, everything you do is, you're doing it because of something. If you're genuinely an angry person, you don't have to be. So figure out why you are. Because there is a reason, I guarantee that. 100%. There's a reason that you're angry all the time. The only person who's going to be able to do anything about it is you. So if you don't want to be this angry, pent-up person that's lashing out at the world all the time, figure it out. Because the rest of us are kind of sick and tired of dealing with it, you know? That's the general idea. Ego. What's that quote from Nietzsche? Every time I climb a tree, there is a dog called Ego behind me, or like behind me there's a dog called Ego. I think that's right. Behind me there's a dog called Ego. Every time I climb a tree, behind me there's a dog called Ego. And I mean, I imagine that the meaning of that is essentially, as you build yourself into the person that you are trying to be, your ego chases you. So I feel that it's your responsibility to coax it in the right direction. Be responsible and manage your ego. Because everyone's going to have it. I think it's a bit silly to be like, oh, just don't have ego. It's like, that means you just don't have confidence in anything about yourself. That doesn't make any sense. You have to have confidence in order to be a successful person. You have to feed your ego. But I think, maybe it's the difference between like feeding your ego and stroking your ego, you know? Either way. Do yourself a favor and pay attention to how you become comfortable with yourself. Yeah. All right. Maybe I'll yeah. All right. Well, I'll talk to you later.